Hello everyone, Happy New Year from V2 Leagues and the Realm Adventure League. First thing we want to do is say thank you for all you alpha testers who were in alpha 0.5 testing. It was a huge success. We had a great set of feedback come from you guys around a lot of different aspects of the game. Mostly some stuff that we were aware of and some things that we weren't. So we're very proud of that. So please keep up the feedback and keep collaborating with us as a community. First thing we saw was about 60% of you had played fantasy football or some fantasy sport before, so you truly understood the general game. The other 40% had never played, so that was a really good perspective coming in about what somebody that hadn't played those type of games before would question or ask, how does this actually work? So really good mix of types of players in the alpha testing. So what I want to do here is start to do some weekly updates to provide you guys some insight to what's happening, what we're changing, and just kind of tidbits of what's going on here at V2 Leagues. Some of the main feedback that we saw, and this is kind of in priority order of the most feedback we got. The first thing was about gameplay info. The info that we're talking about is not understanding how to play. What to do on certain screens, what to do during the draft, those kind of things. And we put out a brief guide in the forum around drafting a little bit, just to kind of give you guys some guidance. But we will be doing some additional guides, how to play, and some walkthrough concepts to explain some of the screens, etc. In addition, we're updating the screens to make it a little bit easier to understand. So that will definitely be coming as we continue to progress through the alpha. This second part was about the draft process. What I'm going to do is show you here a little bit on screen, and these are again from our design files, so they're not in game yet, but they're being put in as we speak. So we wanted to update the draft process. The draft process is really one of the parts of the game, which is part of the strategy. What are you doing to draft? A couple people made comments that there's a lot of characters. Yes, there is. There's going to be a lot of different characters out there. So again, when we do the guides and explain what the statistics mean and all that, that'll help you. But the first thing you want to do is make the draft, setting up your preferences a lot easier. So what you're seeing here is the version of the draft that we're going to end up going to. The first thing you'll probably notice is we're going to go through multiple more roles. We're going to actually add 3 extra roles to the concept that was always part of the design. We just wanted to start with a 3. So instead of having just a tank, healer role, and a DPS role, we're going to actually have 2 tank roles, 2 healer roles, ranged DPS, and melee DPS. So for a lot of you that are familiar with MMOs and the traditional Holy Trinity, this will make sense to you. Those are not, just think of them as different roles as you would see in like a football where you have quarterback, kicker, those kind of things. So it really kind of just separates out having to think about what you're drafting. So what this screen is going to do is, again, you'll get told your draft position at the point when the league starts, and you'll be able to see this page. Now you'll notice when we go to the team management page that this looks a lot like that page as well. We're trying to make it consistent so you're managing the same types of information so it'll get real familiar to you. So really what this is going to do, when you come to the screen initially, it'll actually be a lot of question marks out here on these pieces, and you'll go through and start selecting what position of the draft you want. First, like here, I'm showing that I want to draft my main healer first. Then I'm going to draft my main tank. Then I'm going to go drafting the melee, etc., etc. Right? And then we get down to your bench aspect here. You're going to be able to select the different roles that you want to fill onto your bench. So you'll be able to pick your role and then go pick the position you want to draft in. So there's 2 parts to this. There's this part, which is drafting your putting your role in the position you want to draft. In addition to that, then you're going to start selecting the characters. We don't have that fully designed yet. We'll show that in an update probably next week. But when that comes up, you'll actually go to the same kind of page look and feel, but you'll end up starting to select the priority of the characters you want in what order, and we're going to make that a lot easier. Okay, so we're updating the draft process, and again, we'll try to make this a little bit easier and a little bit more guides to it. As you look at the screen, you'll be able to hover over things and see what they mean, etc. So any kind of feedback you have on that, great. Please send it to us. The next one's all about team management. So once you get your team drafted, and you guys probably remember this screen, which was pretty straightforward, a left and right kind of scenario, just a straight list of characters. this is what it's going to look like. And it's kind of more of a formation aspect. We've given you some design here showing you some active open spots, but you'll be able to manage it. And again, those draft positions are there still, so you have the range, the healers, and everything else outlined here. The first thing you notice is there's characters here. So a lot of you had feedback on character art and wanted a lot of character art. We're working on it. We have a lot of characters to create. These are just some of the ones that will be coming into the game. In addition to, later on, you'll see us open up in a week or so, you'll be able to submit your own characters to us to try to add into the game. So what we wanted to do here was the second level of feedback that we had was around team management, and then separate from that is around just the character information. So team management should be a lot easier to manage from this aspect because you actually see the characters a little bit better. You can drag and drop. We're adding all kinds of touch capability here, so those of you that are on iPads or Microsoft Surface devices like I am, you can go ahead and tap and do that without having to worry about drag and drop. Within the character frame there, you see a bunch of icons on the left just above the role right here. Those are going to represent general information of something going on with the character. Now, it's not going to tell you everything, but you'll be able to click on the character, pop them up, see some summaries, and then eventually get to the character page. But what it will tell you is the icon will always be there whether they're active or benched, whether they're locked. So once we start to get in the real sequence of the game, there'll be times when characters go at certain days, and then they'll get locked in, so you can't change them until the week is over. So you'll get to see that. You'll get to see the little beer stein is all about the news. Is there something going on with the character? And you'll be able to go check the tavern or their character page to see what the news is about. You'll be able to see if they're influenced or not. That's the little potion icon with the stars. You'll be able to see if they have an ongoing effect, and that could be a cursing, a bless, an injury, something to that effect. Is there something going on with them that you need to go check out? And then the last one is a star for they're a starter of the guild. So they're one of the primary starters within that guild. So they're one of the primary characters that will always most likely be active as much as possible. In addition to that, we've got the fatigue bar right here showing you the exact fatigue, so you'll be able to see that right away. You guys will learn later on as we start talking about statistics in some of these updates that the fatigue does change their performance. So as they get more fatigue, they can't perform as well. And then the guild switches them in and out. So there's a lot of little nuances to the statistics that we'll be teaching you guys and kind of showing you. So this will give you the character snapshot, right? This will give you the design of what's going on with the character, quick information you can get to, pop up some additional screens, which will show you during another update. So hopefully this gets down to actually being able to look at your team and manage it a lot more effectively. And you can also see that we've got the guild banners and stuff in the background as well, so you can really recognize which guilds they're from directly. So that's where we're at with those pages. We don't have too many other designs to show you. We will get into later updates when we actually get over to the character page. So one of the other feedback we had was, what's the information mean? What should I be looking for? What happens? We're updating a lot of different screens in addition to some of the gameplay information we'll be providing. But what ends up happening in the game, guys, is the characters every week go off and have a battle. The clans and the guilds have a battle, and it's all AI driven. We are going to be starting to show you all the battle summaries, so you'll be able to look at the characters and see how they're generating the points, etc. We will also be publishing the actual point value system, the actual rules around how they actually generate points. Right now the points are generated, and I can give you a real quick synopsis of that. The points are generated basically, if you look at this note we have here, it's main points, which are based on damage, mitigation, and healing, 1 point for every 250 points done. There's bonus points that'll be based on a kill, a knockout, whether they did a devastating blow, critical hit, or a lucky hit. And then there's negative points on if they die, they get knocked out, or they do a critical miss. Okay, so we have this point system we will publish. You'll see that in the game. And then that allows you to go here and start looking at their percentages and things like that, right? So above and beyond their league points, which is here, which is their average points per raid, which is what APR means. You can see their experience here of how long they've done that. So the more consistent they are, the longer they've been around, the more reliable their point value will be week to week. But you can also see their percentages of critical hits, etc. And again, they all have some performance in the background that's making them improve or get worse over time, those kind of things. And again, we'll start to publish a lot of that information and just general hints around what's actually happening without giving away the total farm on it. Okay, so tons of things coming. We'll spend a lot of time during these updates going over the little aspects of the game. A couple things I want to call out before we wrap up here is, don't forget the guild creation process is open until Friday. So what that means is we've got a section here on the website. And again, we'll provide the link in the notes below. But you can go ahead and submit an idea for a guild or a clan. We've already gotten a lot of ideas coming in. They're awesome. Thank you very much for those of you who've already done that. But this gives you an opportunity to submit and try to get one of the guilds in there. There's only 20 guilds, so we can only pick some of the best ideas that are coming in. But just give us a quick example of what you think a guild would look like in the game and give us some little history, and then we'll work with you. If we pick your guild, we'll work with you on the details and how it gets into the game, etc. And we provide an example here. So don't forget, that's only open through Friday. So please, if you have any ideas or want to get involved, please submit that. The biggest question everybody's continuing asking us is, when is the next alpha going to happen, the next test? We're estimating trying to get the test started before the end of January. But we do have a lot of stuff to get in the game that we want to get in there based on your feedback. So you can estimate end of January, early February maybe from a time frame. We will get that done as soon as possible. We don't want to delay too much between tests. The test will again run specifically on a very accelerated manner, because again, don't forget, the game itself is actually week to week. We can't stretch it out week to week. We have to try to get a 10-week league done in a few days. So I think that worked real well last time. You guys did a great job managing your teams. So we'll look at doing that somewhere in the end of January to February. So until then, get engaged on the forums. If you have any questions or any feedback on these updates, please get on the forums. Watch for more information coming from email and on the forums. And then just help us get the word out. You know, we have social media going on, some advertisements and things like that, but we want to get more and more players into the alpha as we progress. So please get the word out, tell your friends. We'll eventually try to have a way you can invite them into the game directly, as well as create your leagues with them, so you're only playing with the people you want to play with. Okay, well, from V2 Leagues, guys, we really appreciate all the feedback. I hope you like these updates. Give us feedback on what you want to see, and we'll continue to do these on a weekly basis, and we'll see you inside the realm. Thank you.